Song 17. I am only waiting for love to give myself up at last into his hands. That is why it is so late and why I have been guilty of such omissions. They come with their laws and their codes to bind me fast, but I evade them ever, for I am only waiting for love to give myself up at last into his hands. People blame me and call me heedless. I doubt not they are right in their blame. The market day is over and work is all done for the busy. Those who came to call me in vain have gone back in anger. I am only waiting for love to give myself up at last into his hands. In this poem, Tagore assumes the voice of the beloved eagerly waiting for the arrival of the lover, who is none other than God. The beloved yearns for the long-awaited union with God, hoping that their paths will finally converge. This anticipation of God's arrival is the reason for the delay in fulfilling worldly duties. The poet explains that conventional societal norms and traditions seek to confine him within their limitations, but he deliberately avoids succumbing to them. His ultimate desire is to be united with God, and that is what he patiently awaits. People, on the other hand, criticize him for his perceived irresponsibility and recklessness, and the poet acknowledges that there is truth in their judgments. As the day draws to a close, the bustling marketplace empties, and those who sought the poet have left empty-handed, frustrated by their unsuccessful quest. However, their disappointment does not faze the poet. His sole focus remains on God, the beloved, and he yearns to surrender himself completely to the divine presence. Like Mirabai, Tagore, too, assumes the role of the beloved eagerly waiting for God, yearning for a divine union. This tradition of seeking union with the divine is deeply ingrained in Indian and other Oriental cultures. Tagore passionately expresses his longing for God's presence and his eagerness to surrender himself completely. His sole focus is on the pursuit of union with God, much like a woman who, consumed by thoughts of her beloved, does nothing but wait for their reunion and the moment of surrender. Tagore disregards worldly matters and remains completely absorbed in his quest for God. He acknowledges that others are justified in asking him to fulfill his worldly duties and blaming him for his absence, but such concerns hold no significance for him. The underlying implication is that the poet's spiritual yearning and love for God supersede all worldly considerations. His devotion to God renders him oblivious to everything else.